Welcome to Ultimate Landlord. Ultimate Landlord is the place and the company that focuses relentlessly on facts, data, market intelligence, and real-world experiences in the property industry. Now, if you're serious about investment, you need serious information. You do not need get-rich-quick schemes that are not for you. You know your goals, you know your purpose. You're a high performer. You focus in on investments that work for you, and you need the latest information to stay on top of your game. Ultimate Landlord is here for you and people like you, not getting rich quick, who get rich quick schemes that don't work, getting rich smart, through smart schemes and smart investment strategies. Ultimate Landlord is the place for you to realise your full potential. Ultimate Landlord is here for you. It's here for people like you, the sensible, the knowledgeable, the skilled and the ethical. As investors, you want to keep up to date on the latest intelligence and to engage with like-minded people. You're part of a community, you're part of a movement, you're part of a change, you're part of Ultimate Landlord, an Ultimate Landlord that delivers the best possible outcomes every single time, both for yourself and also for the people that depend on you and the work that you do. Okay, so really excited today because today I get an opportunity to speak to my good friend and inspiration, Tosin Ogunnusi. He's been a friend of mine, I think, for just over a year, maybe a bit longer. We met at a conference. Absolute inspiration, amazing life story, and the way in which Tosin helps people and helps businesses develop their systems and their mindset, and the way in which he fuses that together is absolutely phenomenal. So, Tosin, real pleasure to have you on the call this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, John. It's a real pleasure. Thank you for having me, and thank you for those kind words.
Oh, absolutely heartfelt and meant. Really, it really is. It's probably worth us talking about when we met and how you help many people. So we met. Gosh, it was. It's about 18 months ago, isn't it, when we met?
Yeah.
And
Sally's boot camp, I believe.
That's right. Meeting with Sally, and I think my introduction to Tosin was breaking boards and bending bars and all sorts of crazy stuff. But it was very good. It was really good fun. And certainly from my perspective, I think one of the things that was missing in my business at that time was a real focus on mindset. So, Tosin, you know, how do you? What's your view of mindset in business?
Well, thank you for saying that. Now, mindset is everything. You know, often people say the sky is the limit. I say no, the sky is not the limit. Your mind is the limit. And often we always think that you and I think that, oh, I live in a 4-bedroom house, a nice garden, or I live in a duplex, or I live in a 2-bedroom flat, or I live in a studio. No, we don't live in those places at all. Every single human being will live in our mind. And if you think about the mind, when you close your eyes, think of the mind, you can't even comprehend it. It's like a vast nothingness. It's like a vast ocean of nothingness. It's huge. But we as human beings, because we are limited by our physical body, we limit our mindset. We limit our mind. You know, even though we live there, but we live there in a way where we feel that we are hindered. You know, my metaphor is like you're tied to a tree and you can't move. You know what I mean? And you feel like that. So you're like in a prison where the gates and the doors are open and there's no locks on it, you know, but we're in the prison of our own mind. And I think when a lot of people get out of their own way, I always say you're either on your way or in the way. Most people are in their own way. And they got to ask themselves, if they're in the way, they need to get out of the way and allow themselves to live, to be, because as human beings, we're limitless. We're limitless. We are unlimited, but we limit ourselves by our own thought, by our own thinking. And that comes all the way down from the conditioning, the upbringing that we had, you see?
Interesting.
And we limit ourselves based on our individual conditioning. And that's different to everybody, which is the reason why you might hear a sermon being preached by a pastor to 300 people, 2,000 people. If you speak to every single person, they'll have a different version of that same sermon, a different version. Why? Because of their conditioning. Because of the way they're thinking about it, you know, and it's really weird. I'll tell you how upset that is by telling you a little story. This story,
Okay.
just kind of like, it blew my mind. Right now,
Fire away.
yeah, we're all going through COVID, right? Everybody's
Yeah.
talking about coronavirus. And then there was a professor who put a little poem, a little story, a little inspirational story online on Facebook. And the picture they showed was a school, and they showed a school hall full of balloons. Okay, that's all they showed, just a school hall full of balloons. Now, here's the story, to put it in context. Here's the story. He said to the students, I mean, it must be in the whole school, like 1,000 students. He said to them, he said, I want you all to take a balloon and write your name on the balloon. So everybody wrote to them. And then once you write your name on it, throw it in the hallway, hence all the balloons in the hallway. And then he said, now that you all done that, all of you stay over here, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to all run in there and find your own name. So they all ran in and looking for their own name. They look at it, they can't find their own, they're looking at it, they can't find their own names. After 5 minutes, he said, stop. He said, did you find your own name? They go, no, we found somebody else's name. He goes, stop. He goes, now what I want you to do is to find somebody else's name, shout out their name, and pass it on to them. Go. And then they all went, they're like, John, Sarah, Mickey, and they're all passing it on and, passing it on. And it was like rapid, pa, 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 pa. And at the end of it, he said, the moral of the story is this. We're all seeking and searching for happiness, But while we're searching for our own happiness, looking for our own name, searching out there, it doesn't exist. But he says, when you support other people, when you help other people, when you find other people, then give it to them. When you give and that's true happiness. That's true fulfillment. You see, and that's really what mindset is all about. To be honest.
We lose sight of that in property, in the property industry, and as property investors, we absolutely lose sight of that. I think the industry is all about, look at me, I'm getting rich, look at me, and an element of jealousy and a chasing the impossible dream. And in reality,
it's a me world, because we're focused on ourselves, we're thinking about ourselves, but actually, to truly be happy, we've got to change our focus to a we focus, not an I focus, a we. And we've got to think about we as a whole, because, there's a saying that says, you are me, I am you, and together we are everything. So it's like, I got to think, if I make you happy and I give you what you want and you get value, you reward me back in the same kind of value, which is phenomenal. So you're happy, I'm happy. So what we're trying to say is, we find true fulfillment and true happiness in serving, in helping others. Now, the funny side of that story, which had nothing to do with the story itself and the meaning of it, was people during coronavirus go all mad and weird. Now, this was just a picture, an image of a school with balloons in the hallway, and then the story was relayed. Now, the comments, the comment below just will make you laugh. It was just diabolical. Somebody went, oh, that's very nice of you, right? With COVID around, you're doing that in schools? Are you mad? Exposing our kids to and I'm thinking, it's a metaphor, it's a story, it's not going to go. But that's how crazy we are right now. It's going about, So the real virus, I always say, is the media. The media have succeeded in putting fear and panic into everybody. Now, UK is going to a lockdown for another 6 months or so, they are saying. The people are already running to shops and buying all the toilet rolls again. I mean, come on,
toilet roll avalanche.
Come on, people, what's going on with us? Yeah, so that was just a little side story to that. It just made me laugh that we take everything out of context. This was just a metaphor, a lovely story for insight and wisdom, and somebody took it as it was real and it was happening, and this is what happened in the schools. It was just crazy.
But isn't it great that you can really have a point of difference by being that person, being that property investor, being that landlord that is promoting the fact that you're supporting and helping other people. I've certainly, from my own experience, when you project that out, people start to come to you, start to be attracted to working with you.
100%. 100%. What you're doing now is having your system, having your model, having your structure, and giving and putting it out there. We call it cellucating now. Cellucating your audience. And cellucation means we have to educate them first before we ask for anything in return. But while you are educating them, you are putting little seeds there to say, hey, I do this as well. I do this as well. If you're interested. It's a really great form of selling right now without being in people's faces. And it's a very authentic way of selling as well, because what I'm saying is, I'm going to prove to you what I do and how I do it. And I'm going to give you a taster. I'm going to give you an experience of it. If you like it, then you buy it. If you don't like it, it's okay. You know, And that's a really great way of selling. If you think about the way people sell cars, they have a showroom.
Yeah.
So you want to buy a car, you got your money, you go into the showroom, they go, wow, would you like a test drive? So
Yeah,
they give you an experience of it. Yeah. And then you drive in it, you feel good about it, you like it, you and your wife look at you, go, okay, this is comfortable, we like it. It's a really smart way of doing business nowadays. Long gone are the other days where we put ads up and websites, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. People are not doing that anymore. So we have to prove ourselves now. So we almost have to showcase ourselves, put ourselves out there, serve people, give them something of value, and then they'll know, like, and trust you, and then come back to you. And that's why I love the way you're doing business and the way you're running your property stuff. I've seen a lot of people do property and they do it in a very different way. So that makes sense. And that's to do, again, with having the right mindset and the right intention.
Well, that's the bit that's really broken, isn't it? It's almost like we're expected as property investors to spend money and time and effort on things that we don't really have any insight into. As you say, absolutely spot on, hit the nail on the head. You wouldn't go and buy a car if you didn't have a chance to test drive it, look at the brochure, look at the statistics, work out what its depreciation is, and yet we go out there and we spend enormous sums of money. And we're not talking about £5 or £10 or even £5,000 or £10,000. We're spending hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Correct.
And I think you really inspired me when we were working closely together about 12 months ago, where you were really challenging me in terms of what I was doing. I needed to talk more about how I help, how I support, how I ultimately just giving and giving and giving. And as a consequence of that, I bought more property. I did more work on my estate agency, grew my portfolio. I started providing insights and experiences for people who were involved in property. And you know what? The feedback is absolutely phenomenal because of that very thing, because of the fact that really you're not pushing things onto me. You're sharing things with me and adding value to me in my life. And as a result, I've elected to make a decision to invest my time and my money in you, be they a person who's selling a property, be it a tenant who's looking to move into one of my properties, or be it someone who's looking to come on some of the training or buy my book or whatever it might be.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? You just reminded me, because I did exactly the same process I'm talking about with you. So if you remember, Cass, we met at a boot camp 18 months ago.
Yeah.
After the boot camp, I shared something about writing your own book. Obviously, I'm the author of 3 books. My first book, Time to Break Free. This was my first book, Empower Yourself with the 7 Natural Laws. This was my second book, Time to Break Free. And my third book is How to Perform Like a Time every time you speak. I'm on my 4th book right now. And when we met, I was sharing with you about how to write a book at Sally's event, right? Yeah. I did a little section on how to write books, and you told me that you wanted to write a book.
I did.
Inside of you, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know what? Here's what we do. I normally charge for that service, but I will give you a Zoom call, one-on-one. We'll have a time, and I will help you extract what's in your brain, and we'll put a structure of your book together, and then you go away. And then we did that. So Absolutely. I came, I spent my time, I called you up, we did all of that work together. Yeah, perfect. We did all of that work together. We did all of that work together, and I let you go. What did I do? I showcased what I could do, and I let you go, and off you went. And I said, listen, you can either write it yourself, or I could introduce you to some publisher that will help you write it. You know, you went up, you said you were going to write it yourself. It probably took you fucking 18 months. It should have taken you a month. But this is the thing that we all say. What could have taken us a month? We want to do it by ourselves, and it took you 18 months to get the book done, but at least you got it done. But that's what I mean about no pressure sales. So I gave you something of value. I showed you what I could do. You went away and you pondered over it. You worked with it. And later on, you came back. You came back. I think it was like...
I contacted you, didn't I?
But yeah, you did. You came back and like, Tosin, I'm ready now. I really want to do this now. Like, wow. So we then extracted your knowledge and your know-how and put it into a solution framework. And I'm smiling now because I'm looking behind you and I can see the banner behind you. And that's the framework we created with you. So I can see the framework right behind you there, which is brilliant. Because now that allowed you to synthesize your own knowledge into simple chunks. And this is why a lot of people go wrong. There's a lot of experts out there. They're brilliant at what they do.
Don't we know it?
Good at what they do. But they make everything complex in their head. And when things are complex, it's not easy for you to deliver. It's not easy for you to digest. It's not easy for your audience to receive it. But by breaking what you do down and systemizing what you've been doing for the last 10, 20 years, by breaking it down into a solution, a workable solution framework, like the one you have behind you, it's brilliant, because now it allows you to say, oh, this is what I do. I do this. I can explain to a client in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes, in an hour, in 3 days, in 4 days. Now, here's the beauty of that. This becomes your own intellectual property. Now, the beauty of doing this and doing this work, you know, and having this work done for you is now you can now say, I'm too busy. I want to teach somebody else this framework. Teach them the framework, they go and deliver it. You don't have to. They're going to, now you can have lots of soldiers working for you doing exactly what you do because it's systemized, you know?
Now that was probably my frustration, is the knowledge tied up in my head. Because I've been buying property for years. I've been investing. I've run a estate agent and all that good stuff. But the key for me was my unique skill set, or my ability was to take lots of data, lots of information, and refine it down into a strategy to enable you to buy the best possible house, the best area, get the best results. Property sourcing, that's not difficult. You're buying a house. If you offer someone some money and they want some money, they'll buy it off you. So putting all that into a structure where I could deliver it and explain it to someone in a day, or give them the basics of it in just a 30-minute conversation was eureka for me. It was absolutely eureka, because I wanted to give that, but I didn't understand how to give that to my audience, to my people. And I think in property, we struggle with that as well. It's sort of, what really annoys me is when everybody's got, I'll solve your property problems written on a business card, and they give them out. And I think to myself, well, that might have worked in 1997, but in 2020, people don't live their lives looking at business cards and looking at junk mail on the doormat and reading letters. Absolutely not. They want to build a rapport with somebody. They want to trust them. And then they want to engage with them, and that was the sort of the penny drop. And when we worked together, was, do you know what? That's the bit that we're getting so blooming right, and it's probably the best kept secret in property, is that you condition your mind, you have the right mindset, the right approach, and you support and you give to your audience, and your audience comes to you for more, like I did with you with the book, because I knew I wanted to write.
Put your book up again. Put your book up. Put it up. Put it up.
There you go.
Say it up there. What's the title of your book?
Property, Truth or Dare, by John Penquet.
Brilliant.
And it's the truth.
Now, hold on. Put it up again. Yeah. that is the new business card, folks. This is the new business card. No longer together, because now when you give me this and you sign me, and I've got a signed copy, thank you very much. When you sign that and I get a copy in my hand, okay, now I can read about John's work and what you do and how you do it. Now that I got this information, I know, like, and trust you. I've connected with you through this book. Now I'm more likely to pick up the phone. John, can you help me, please?
Absolutely.
You didn't even have to sell to me, because now I know what you do. It's in your book. I've got testimonials. I've got people saying that it's amazing, in the book. That's all I need to know. Now I'm more likely to trust you than somebody who I go to a network and they give me a card. I can help you solve all your property bids. I'm like, really? How?
Yeah.
How can you do that? But give me this and you say, Tosin, read this book. It will help you with the property business. Wow. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Now, John, I need your help to buy my first property.
Absolutely, and that's been a huge part. I mean, if you want the book, there'll be a link on the video. You can get hold of the book, and also links to Tosin's books as well. But the book and all the things that we did around that was very much about. This is, you don't need to spend thousands, tens of thousands of pounds. Don't make that big step to start with. You've got to be ready yourself to invest or to grow. And like me, my book, I wanted to write a book. I knew I wanted to be an author in the same way that I wanted to do many other things in my life. But I needed to be able to see the benefit of working with someone like yourself and the publisher, and I needed to be able to see the value that it would bring. And as soon as that clicked, I'm on the phone to you. I remember doing it. I was actually on the train, and I remember calling you, thinking, I got to call Tosin because I'm never going to do this myself. I'm not. Yeah. I need him. I need his support, and fantastic. And that's something that I've observed with the workshops and the events that we've run through Ultimate Landlord, is that people are really fearful of parting with money, but yet they'll spend £23,000, £24,000 on a training course because someone's got a bit of celebrity, or because they've been doing it for a long time, and
or they'll host a party and they'll buy their most expensive dresses, shoes, Gucci, and they spend $3-4 grand on themselves, and they're like, hello. You see, I think it was John Paul Gaultier that said that when you spend all of your money in your knowledge, it will never go away. Absolutely. Because now they can rip you of everything, you could lose everything, but I'm telling you, they can strip me of everything, put me in a different remote country or whatever it is, and because of the knowledge that I've gained, because of the investment in personal development and mentors that I've had in myself, I can do it all again. Because it doesn't leave you. You just start again and you just go. It doesn't leave you. So money can come and go. People come and go, because the knowledge will never leave you, and that's the key. So we need to invest in ourselves.
And people are chasing that, aren't they? All the time, they're chasing the money. Facebook and Instagram are full of it. People stood in front of Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and that's great. But you're not going to get the Ferrari or the Lamborghini unless you focus on the structure. Interestingly, I've got the structure. Seeing as we're So you've got to go all the way through the structure in order to get to the blinking Ferrari or the Lamborghini or the yacht or the expensive holidays or the big house that you want. You have to go through that change of mindset and that training. And the training and the development you engage in has to be relevant to the marketplace in which you're in. Now,
absolutely.
12 months ago, gosh, if you were buying property 12 months ago, it was a completely different market. And a completely different situation to the situation we find ourselves in now, and it was really amusing just watching everybody's opinions. I think this, I think that. Well, we're during lockdown, and I'm just busily working away on the structure, the strategy, the stuff that we pull together, and pulling the data together, and going, actually, do you know what? You're all talking an absolute pile of rubbish. This is what's going to happen. And I went on. I gave it away. I put it on our Facebook page, and I pushed it out to a few groups. I said, look, this is what the data say, and this is what the information that I have. And if you put it through our structure and you look at what's going to happen, it's the complete opposite to what even the media was put. There's the doom and gloom, terrible situation, and then we come out the first lockdown in the UK, and our property market just absolutely explodes. I think we were probably one of the very few companies that were actually saying, you know what, be aware, this situation is likely to be pent up demand, big demand for property, and the people that we work with made an absolute killing during that space, including me. I'm not going to lie, I did very well, but it was only because I was disciplined. I used the mindset training and teaching that you very kindly gave to me, and we now offer to our clients as well. And I was disciplined, and I didn't react, didn't overreact. I went through the process, and I went through the research, and I arrived at insight that was real, that was of value. And then I gave it away to people. I gave it away for free, Tosin. I gave it away for free. And people made
even though you gave it away for free, I promise you, that stuff will come back to you tenfold. Not in the way you expect. From different sources, from other people. Yeah, it will come back to you anyway. But here's what you did. Here's what you said, and I want to break it down for the viewers that are listening. You followed your foundations. You followed your principles, right? And I think it was Will Smith who coined it beautifully. And you might want to write this down. He says, self-discipline is self-love. You see, often not, we sabotage ourselves a lot of the time. I shouldn't drink that Coke. I shouldn't eat that cake. I know it's not healthy for me, but I eat it anyway. That's called sabotaging yourself. That deal sounds too good to be true, but then don't fucking do it. Excuse my language, but you do it anyway, So we sabotage ourselves. You go somewhere and you say, don't put cheese in my omelet. Somebody put cheese in it. Okay, I'll just eat it. It's just cheese. You sabotage yourself. Little thoughts like that. But what you did is you follow the foundation, the principles. Trading, investment. You have to have the guiding principles, and don't attach any emotions to that. You can't get emotional about it. You have to look at the basics. You have to look at the statistics. You have to look at the numbers. It's a numbers game, right?
Yeah.
This is what the numbers saying. Numbers saying this is not a good idea. I ain't doing it. No matter how pretty it looks, no matter how wonderful it looks, no matter how it looks on paper, like wow, the numbers don't add up. I'm not doing it. And a lot of people get caught up in that trap where they put their life savings, into deals that
And
just
other
don't pan
people's life savings as well, Tosin.
and other people's life savings that don't pan out for them. So, folks, if you're listening to this and you're watching this, I hope you're hearing this. Follow your own guiding principles and follow your own foundational stuff and rules. Don't take out the emotions from it. Okay, if it makes business sense, do it. If it doesn't, don't. You know, it's as simple as that. It's not rocket science, right?
No, I couldn't agree more with that. That's in a nutshell what it is. And you know, the proof of the pudding's in the eating, isn't it? You know, there are people out there that are have absolutely done incredibly well because they were disciplined and they followed the foundational rules. And interestingly, you mentioned that the people who did really well have actually come back to us in Ultimate Landlord and said, you know what, we want more.
Yeah.
It's good.
Why wouldn't you? Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Listen, if I put £1 in the slot machine and it gives me £4, bloody hell, I'm going to look for more money to put in that bloody machine, aren't I? I'm like, where's more money? I just want to dump it in there. Because even if it gives me 1 to 2, I want to put more money in and get that out. Yeah. And that's the thing. So if you prove yourself and people see that this is genuine, this is real, this is authentic, then people will genuinely come back, not because you're trying to sell to them or push them, because they genuinely believe they get value from you.
It's funny because I mean I work with some people who've probably been in property longer than I have, and that's saying something because I've been in it for absolutely ages. And they say, do you know what? I never thought about my property business in this way. I never thought about my property investment in this way. I'm doing it wrong, or I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. You know, the importance, and I can't stress this enough, the importance of merging both mindset and strategy together. You know, the mindset, the stuff that Tosin is a phenomenal. I mean, if you want to spend any time on mindset, Tosin's your man. Fusing mindset and then structure of your business together to deliver results is basically it's the iPhone or the Samsung Galaxy versus the Nokia 3310. You know, the way we did stuff 10, 15 years ago is still being pushed as the way to do it, and it's frankly it's rubbish. You know, you've got to be
it is rubbish.
Yeah, you've got to be on it. You've got to be right on it right now. Otherwise, you're just in a sea of other people who do very little with property. Be standout, be the person, be the go-to, be the attraction. That's what I got from you, Tosin, 18 months ago.
Absolutely. You know what? Saying on that, you know, that's a valid point you just mentioned, because we like the old way. And the reason why we like the old way of doing things is because we're creatures of habit. Absolutely. Okay? It's worked. We're not knocking. It worked in those times. It got you to where you are. And you're like, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, that's another old saying that we used to say, because now coronavirus has come, and guess what? All of those always are gone out the window. You know, it put 196 countries under lockdown, period. Economy shut for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So it doesn't matter what you think your business is, it doesn't matter how great your business is. If you can't operate, if you can't work, what are you going to do? People's businesses are out the freaking window right now. So guess what? You have to pivot. You have to rethink. You have to do things differently than you used to do. If you want to hang on to the old way, there's a saying by Marshall Goldsmith that what got you here won't get you there. I'll say it again. What got you here won't get you there. What got you the success you are living right now is not going to get you the success moving forward. And a lot of people have realized that through COVID. They've realized that they have to wake up. You know, there's some restaurants completely shut down. They can't run business anymore. Done, out. And then there's some restaurants that were not even looked at, that were struggling before COVID, that now they're just like, whoom, they're booming. And they're happy with the COVID because now people see them, they open longer hours, people come to them, they're doing takeaways because they have to reinvent the way they do things. So what camp are you in? Are you still sitting in the camp of the old, or are you in the camp of like, I've got to pivot, I've got to change, how can I change? Right now, I'm you and I, we're in the speaking business, right? I'm mainly in the speaking business. I'm in the event business. I'm doing event traveling around the world. I've not been able to do that. Why? Because I've had to pivot and change the way I do things. I've had to put my training programs online. I've had to put them online because online is where it's at. When they're online now, it doesn't require me to travel all around the world to deliver. I can deliver it to you now without going anywhere. From the front of my own room, I use Zoom now. You know, Zoom's By the way, Zoom went from $1 million company to $1 billion company just overnight with coronavirus, just like that. Boom.
I wish I bought shares in them.
Exactly. I wish I bought shares in them at that time because they've gone crazy.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I'm talking about. So change is here, folks, and change is here to stay. You know, there was my word of the day today, my phrase of the day, which I'm going to use today. I haven't done it yet, but I will be doing it. Somebody sent me a phrase and I thought this is going to be a cool phrase of the day. Let me remember it. And I put it in my phone and I'm going to use it. I think you guys will love this. And it said, if I see the phrase properly. What is that phrase?
I'm just loving pivot at the moment.
It's brilliant. It says, normal is an illusion. What's normal for a spider is chaos for the fly. I just want that to sink in right now, okay? I really want that to sink in. You know, normal is a fucking illusion.
Yeah.
Yes, we get into habits and we create something and it's working, we like it, and we work it. Fantastic, but for a period of time.
Yeah.
After a while, we've got to move, we've got to change, we've got to edit something, we've got to tweak something, we've got to change something. Otherwise, it won't work the same way anymore. So there's nothing wrong in getting something new, riding the wave. You know, a wave goes up and it goes down, and then a new wave comes. It may not be as high, it may not be as low, but a new wave is going to occur. So while you're riding that wave, that's all good. But then something's got to change to ride a new wave because the wave is smaller. It's not as high, or it's not as small. It's in the middle. What do? You've got to adapt. You've got to change your behavior to that wave.
I see that constantly. Everybody just doing the same old thing, just thinking they'll get the same results, and you know, time.
That's the height of insanity.
Time has changed.
That's the height of insanity, you know, of doing that. By the way, here, let me give you guys a 101 mindset review right now. Okay, to help people that are listening right now. You see, I'll give you two examples. The first one is when you're doing something, okay, and you're starting something new. I don't know whether you're learning to walk, you're learning to talk, you're learning to ride a bike or drive a car, whatever it may be. And you know how to do that now, okay? You can do it with your eyes, blah, blah, blah. That's great. We call that X. It's a comfort zone. It's something that you know how to do. Let's label it X, okay? You're doing it, it's great. You know, you can do it like your job, your work, you've been properly for, I don't know, 20 plus years. You know this stuff. I've been in this industry for 26 years now. This stuff oozes out of me. I know this stuff, okay? So that's our comfort zone, right? Mm. Now, coronavirus hits, and there are no more events since March of this year. Now I've got to pivot because I can't do events, and I've got to feed the family. What do I have to do? I've got to pivot. I've got to change. So that change, let's call that X, okay? X is the change. Now you're thinking differently. You're having a different idea. Let's call it reasoning. Now you're thinking, I could do something different. I could be something different. I could create a new thing. I could start a new business. I could lose weight, whatever that may be. I could make X more money every month than what I'm making right now. Y could be anything, something new. Okay, mm-hmm. So that's Y. Now, that's great, though. We are conditioned X. We're thinking differently now that we could do something different called Y. Now, this is not rocket science, but if you don't do anything, what's going to happen? Nothing, right? Exactly. If you don't do anything, it's just be wishful thinking. You'll be like, I'm conditioned X, but I want to do Y, but I'm not doing anything about Y. So Y is never going to happen in a million years. Okay, nothing happened, no problem. But here's where the juice is. If we now begin to enroll in a course, like in my case, I hired a videographer to do the video. I hired somebody to build my membership site on ClickFunnels. I got ClickFunnels, blah, blah, blah. I started investing in all these things new. Now, I don't know how it's going to turn out. See, because I started doing something, okay, about the new thing, all of a sudden, my whole system kicked into overdrive. Mm-hmm. Because this is all alien to me. It's all foreign to me. I haven't done it before, you see? So you're going to feel that. So you come to the stage where we call conflict. Everybody experiences conflict. And what happens at the conflict stage? So you have your comfort zone, you have your reasoning, if you're following me, right? And then you have your conflict. Conflict happens to every single person on the planet. And what happens is when we get to conflict, we have doubt, we have fear, we have anxiety in our body. Is it going to work out? It's not going to work out. Am I wasting all this money? What's going to happen? I had to get that. Then I had to get Vimeo because I have to store all my videos on Vimeo. So I have to get a membership site for that. I have to get this. I'm like, geez, is all this going to fucking work? So somebody said, listen, I'm going to build each site individually. So I need to buy this site. I need to buy. I'm like, no, I don't want that. Then I just say, you know what? Use ClickFunnels. It's more expensive, but I'd rather have everything under one umbrella than having you create different sites that I can manage, and you have to manage it. So, but it was scary doing all this stuff. I said, it was scary. You're like, oh, and then I had to do videos. I had to stand 8 hours for a whole week, 8 hours every day, standing on my feet, filming different positions, different set, filming 8 hours every day, all my knowledge, all the stuff that I know, putting it online. So it wasn't an easy task, all of that, you have to put all the work in. Now, what happened? Most people get to conflict and they feel the doubt, they feel the fear, they feel the anxiety in their body, and very, very quickly they go, no, and then they run back to safety. Abraham Maslow said, either you move forward into growth or you move back in safety. And most people are moving, and trust me, I'm not throwing stones. I was doing this for many years. I was here thinking where I was going. I was getting there. The company hit. I was like, fuck, what up here? And I kept doing it over and over and over and over again. And when I get back to comfort zone, I rationalize lies to myself. I tell myself in my head, who wants that house anyway? Who needs that car anyway? I'm comfortable the way I am. Who needs that job? Who needs that new online program? That online program, no, leave it. Actually, online program, I've been talking about it for 2 years. If I had said that been 2 years ago, I wouldn't be going coronavirus, panicking. No, I would have had it all done, you see? But I kept telling myself that shit, which what most of us do. We rationalize lies to ourselves in our mind. We put things off, we procrastinate, we don't want to do them. But actually, I realized the real goal to get to the next level, which is freedom. So you have your comfort zone, you have your reasoning, you have your conflict, and the fourth is freedom, where you're actually doing why. And to get to freedom, what you got to do is to stay in conflict long enough. To stay there long enough. And the questions you got to ask yourself there is, who do I know that can support me? Who's done this before very successfully? Who's the master that I can learn from? Who's a mentor that can guide me? Because in business, in everything that we're doing, we're going to reach this plateau. We're going to reach this hurdle that we don't know how to figure out ourselves. And that's where the power of leverage comes in. Because leverage, you can leverage people, you can leverage money, you can leverage products and services. But if you don't have those things in place, how can you leverage it? So you need to be able to adopt and find somebody that can help you and stay there, stay uncomfortable long enough till you become comfortable. Don't run back to safety, because remember, normal is an illusion. It doesn't exist. So while you're still thinking, the only way to move forward is to put yourself through that doubt, fear, conflict, to push yourself through it. Because on the other side, I always say something like, on the other side of your fear is your success.
It's almost like you listening to my mentor calls, because I obviously I mentor a few people, and they're so fixated on doing what they've always done, and yet they want a mentor to assist them. And it's almost like they want you might challenge me on this, but it's almost like they want me to vindicate what they're doing. So they'll come to me and say, I'm sending letters out. I'm going to go and deliver letters around houses. And I'm saying, why are you doing that? And they're like, oh, because it's really good. I think, well, think of the time cost, think of the opportunity cost. Does it work? Do you read letters out? When your mail comes through the door, do you get excited, or do you think, oh, I'll put those in the corner? You don't respond to it?
No, mate. It literally straight away goes into file 13.
It does,
literally.
And yet there's hundreds and hundreds of people.
Less than 0.5% of that kind of work, those leafleting and door-to-door, people just dump them in the bin.
And yet they go away and they'll spend more money on some more training, on putting more leaflets to more houses, and wonder why they don't get a different result. And I'll just take them. A lot of people don't like engaging on social media and don't like using it as a tool to support your business.
But do you know why that? I mentioned this earlier on at the beginning. That is because we are creatures of habit. Remember I said that. We hang on to things for our dear life rather than just letting go and learning something new to move. We're already in the fall now. And what's happening is the leaves are going to fall off the trees completely, literally empty, completely. And they won't make a sound. They won't make any noise, because that's their design. They don't complain. They don't moan, because they know without a shadow of a doubt, come spring, new leaves are going to be formed, new flowers, new blossoms is going to come. But they can't hang on to the old leaves if they want to create new ones. They have to let it go. And that's the same for us. We've got to realize that if we look at nature and the way nature works, there's a time for sowing the seed. There's a time for harvest. There's a time for barren, when there's nothing. And there's time for, that's when we have to bind in the hatchet and hold tight you know, till the harvest comes. You see, you know, that's what I say. In the winter, invest, plant. So in the spring you can harvest, in the summer you can spend. You know, so if we look at nature, we can work with nature in that same manner. So people have to understand that this is how life works. If we follow it, we'll do ourselves a huge favor. So what I'm saying is, this is the creative process of life. Comfort zone, reasoning about doing something new, following it through. There'll be conflict, there'll be doubt, there'll be fear, there'll be anxiety. But if we stay there long enough, find the right people, ask the right questions, we'll get to freedom. Now, here's the kicker. When you get to freedom, now I've created my online programs. Now they're out there. Now I've sold a few and I figured out, but now I need to keep perfecting it so I can enjoy it for a while. Now we need to look at it. We need to tweak the sales script, the cover. We need to find how to do better ads and so little things start to occur, but we're enjoying that wave right now. We're enjoying that, but it's out there, we're doing it and we're working on it, but you're still making little tweaks. And eventually, once I master that, that would be great, because now my new why will become a comfort zone for me.
That's crucial. That's massive, because I think, when I start talking about some of the different ways in which we do stuff in Ultimate Landlord, I still buy properties. I'm not a retired property investor. I'm still active. I'm still doing it. I'm feeling the same pain and the challenges that everybody else is feeling around me in my business and my portfolio. But I think that when something new comes on, a lot of people will either dismiss it out of hand because it's not the way I do things, or they'll try it once and say, well, that didn't work, or I didn't get the results I wanted, so they just give up. It's a bit like, I'd never have learned to ride a bike if I had that approach. Yeah, correct. I could happily carried on walking and seen all my friends ride around on the bikes, or I could have learned something new, tried something different, fallen off, grazed my knees, realized that I was doing something wrong, refined it, perfected it, and got better and better and better, so that
put it this way, for all your viewers out there, exactly what you just said. Let's put it this way. Let's say as a kid, they were all children once, they've all been kids. Let's say as a kid, boy or woman or girl or twins or whatever it may be, you started to crawl and you started to get up and walk and you fall down, and you walk and you fall down. Let's say your parents told you and said, sorry, whoever you are, Sarah, John, whatever you are, sorry, if they're real Sarah and John out there, you say, whoever you are, they say, hey, you're not cut out for that walking sheep. You're never going to walk again, so stop trying. I've never seen any parent in the world would ever do that to their children. Exactly. So, but we forget that it was a learning process. And the problem is this: as a kid, we were amazing at learning, failing. We're just growing. We're just absorbing. We're just trying everything. If you can't do it, we're not going to, we don't care. Kids don't care. You can tell you can't do that. They go, what? I'm going to do it. They want to do everything. They want to do everything. So as adults, the problem is our pride and ego kicks in. Yeah. And we want to save face, and we don't want to admit what we're not good at. And I suffered from it for many years, which held me back a lot. And I remember this, and I'm sharing it. It's a painful experience, where as an adult, you're not good enough. You can't do something. Rather than asking for help and asking people to say, help me, how do you do this? How do you guys do so well? Because people look at you and they assume you know. They look at you like, oh, he must be good at that. He must be great at that. He's doing it. But actually, I had no clue. Now, because I want to protect that lie, I shut up. I don't say anything. And I allow that to ride. And I try to act and behave like as if I know, but actually I don't know anything. They often say, I think it was Sadhu Guru that said, we're all ignorant of some things, but we don't like to admit that we're ignorant. But actually, when we admit that we are ignorant and we don't know, then in lies the possibility of learning something new. You see? So for me, it's a case of now is, you can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to yourself. You look in the mirror, you can't lie to yourself. You could look at your mirror and go, yeah, you're full of shit, mate. Why are you lying? So you look in the mirror, you tell yourself the honest truth about what's going on. And when you admit that to yourself, then you can find people to help you. I think Bob Proctor, one of my mentors, said, develop your strengths, manage your weaknesses, okay? Whatever your strengths are, do more of that. Your weaknesses, find somebody else to help you. I think that's why we got married anyway, We get married because somebody feels our weaknesses, and we feel there. Yeah, exactly. We kind of play that role with each other. Same in business, right? You're good at what you do, but then other people are good at other things, so you bring them in. And it saves time and saves your life, and you have leverage, and you progress and you move forward. That's what it is. That's why we need a mentor. Because in business, you start at one level, then you want to scale up, but you don't know how to. A mentor who has done it will tell you this is how to do it. Then you want to scale up again, they tell you this is how to do it. That's what Sally does. You know, how do you get from here to the very top? Well, I've been through all that stage, so I can guide you through. I can tell you what the pitfalls are. You know, unless you have somebody guiding you through each stage, you get to a stage and you just stop and you can't cope and you sell your business or you quit or you just give up. And that's just happened so many times. And I remember first business failed, second business failed, third business failed, until I'm on my final one. Now, business, forget it. I'm not a business person. I won't profess to be. But when it comes to mindset, when it comes to training, when it comes to delivering this stuff, this is my baby. That's what I do. And I stick to what I know best, and I get other people to support me in what I don't really know how to do. And that's the key. That's the key really here, you know?
Interesting. Phenomenal. It's always phenomenal speaking to you. You fire me up, unfortunately. I feel like I've got to get out there now and go and do a load of exciting stuff. I'm thinking, right, John, get in the car. Come on, let's get it done, John.
That's the whole idea. My job is to, I always say, my job is to put a little bit of fire in people's belly.
Yeah.
Because if your guests are listening to this and they still act the same way that they were acting before, I've not really served them. I've not really done them a justice, you know? For me, it's like, I've got to put fire in your belly that's burning enough that you say, oh my God, fuck it, I want to go and do something. Either it's a baby step, I don't care, or it's a big step or a huge step. It's up to you. Just go and do something.
Change exciting? Isn't doing something different that you've not done before exciting? You know, going on holiday, getting on an airplane, you know, once upon a time before coronavirus. But it used to be exciting. I'm going somewhere new. I'm going to do something, you know, try some new food, experience some new culture. Got to put that into your business. Got to put that into your property strategy. And that's what you've just instilled in me. And I'm fired up and I want to instill it in other people. Get out there, do something different, pivot, change, do whatever you want to call it. Just approach it differently, because there's loads of opportunity out there at the moment for all of us. You know, be it, you know, with ourselves, with our mindset, with our health, with our education, with our wealth, with our future. You know, what are we going to do in the future? What are your plans? Put them down on paper. Put some mindset behind it. Put some structure behind it. Fuse the two together using the X and the Y that you mentioned, Tosin. Get out there and get it done. I just can't stress enough that it's crucial that you stop doing the same old nonsense that you've done for years and years and change, because if you change, you'll grow. And I've experienced that personally. I thought, you know, I got comfortable, I got complacent. I've got a property portfolio. I got you know, the buzzword, passive income, all that sort of stuff. I had a business that I had to pivot. I've transformed, and I'm loving it. It's just absolutely amazing, and I'm doing more, and I'm getting more business and more leads and more property coming my way and more engagements with people, because I took myself out of what was a very comfortable zone. And when we met, Tosin, I said, you know, I don't even need to be here. I don't need to be doing this. And he just looked and laughed at me. He's like, let's wait and see, John. And go on. Change and you know, the motivation and the power that it gives to you and to the people around you, the teams. If you've got a team around you, if you've got a power team, to use that cliche, you know, the people. If you've got a builder that's doing a refurbishment, don't walk in dragging your bloody knuckles on the floor. Get in there, fired up and motivated, and talk about what you're doing and share it with people. Tenants, property sellers, property vendors, estate agents. Now, how depressing is it when you go into an estate or for an estate agent, when you go in and you go, I'm looking for a below market deal and I'll buy for cash. I mean, that's not very exciting. Get in there and fire them up. Talk about the fact you're preventing homelessness. You're going to create an amazing experience for their tenants. Tell them that, you know, they'll love managing it. All that sort of stuff. Attitude is everything.
Attitude is everything, mate. Attitude is everything. And you got to have that open, positive attitude towards life, because, you know, adversity comes in our life to strengthen us, to build us, to give us mental toughness. It's not to do anything. Adversity comes. And I often say this. They said, your failures in life are the universe's way of telling you not to settle for less than you're worth. Okay.
Isn't it nice to hear someone talk about their failures? No one ever talks about their failures. Everyone in our industry wants to talk about how amazing everything is and how easy.
Because for me, if you think about it this way, we learn more from our failures than we do our successes.
Back to the riding the bike or the learning to walk, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. So if you made a decision today and it turned out all right, you learned something. If you made a decision today and it didn't turn out all right, you also learn something. So that the common denominator is learning. That's why we say there's no failure, only feedback. You know, we're getting feedback that it works or it didn't work, and then we can refine it and do it better next time. I think it was Brian Tracy, one of my other mentors, that said to me, he said, listen, Tosin, you will survive in business if you can make enough money to cover your mistakes.
That's a good one.
Because that's what it is. Because remember, we're testing the market all the time. Products, we're testing it. If you're working on it, the price point, we're testing it. Does it work or not? Until we find the sweet spot. Okay, that's the right price point. That's the right thing. That's the right product. That's working. That doesn't work. Get rid of it. You know, but sometimes we could hang on to something like and you're losing money on it and it doesn't work for us. So he's saying you will survive in business if you make enough money to cover your mistakes.
Yeah.
You know,
True words. True words. Tosin, it's been awesome talking to you again. I wish we could do this every day.
You'd have to pay for it. That will cost.
No. Well,
to do it every day.
What a treat for everybody! What a treat for everybody on listen to this podcast, because you're an inspiration, and you've had so much input into what we do in Ultimate Landlord, and a lot of what we do here and what we offer to people is an extension of the immense skill, experience, and knowledge that you brought to me and to my business. So I would implore anyone who's interested in mindset and education, obviously to talk to us at Ultimate Landlord, but also reach out to Tosin as well. And Tosin, if you want to just do you want to just show us your books again so that people know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They can get on Amazon. It's on Amazon. Time to Break Free.
That's an excellent read. I picked that up and I couldn't stop.
By the way, this is 26 years of my life in personal development, or 25 years of my life in personal development. It's 26 now, and it's really full of gems. It's not an ordinary book that you can pick up. It's got work. I put everything here. It's almost about 300 pages, 298, I believe. And it's literally, you read a chapter, there's a workbook, there's a chapter, you do the exercise. So this has become my Bible, okay? I'm showing you a fresh one. This is my copy. This is my copy. I carry it everywhere. I read it every day. It's being used. It's like my Bible. I'll tell you right now, the best book I've ever read is moi, right here.
No, it's not. It's mine, Tosin.
It's mine. And this is really good for just keeping you positive every day. I like colors. Ask John. I love colors. It's a colorful book. It's great. It's great for kids as well.
It is brilliant. My book's like that.
Put it by your bedside, and they can just open it at random, and there's a message for the day there. So lots of quotes and stories and questions and poems.
And what was that called? What's that called again?
Empower yourself with the 7 natural laws.
Excellent. Thank you.
Empower yourself with 7 natural laws. It's great. It's out there. And the latest one is Perform Like a Champion Every Time You Speak, which is really all about speaking skills. Like I work with John. If you're a presenter, if you have a preview and you want to do stuff like that, then I can really help you hone in your skills of public speaking, because there's certain things we do that really works. That really makes
there's loads of really nice secrets in that book in terms of how you can influence people through just your body language. It's incredible. Absolutely. It unlocks a lot of really interesting secrets that once you're aware of it, you see others using it and using it well, and you think, gosh, I really wish I had that in my arsenal, and I could have used before. So they're all on Amazon.
By the way, if you look at me, I used to stammer. I used to feel inferior to everybody else. I didn't believe in myself. So I learned this skill. So anyone can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And finally, if you're somebody like John and you want to scale up your business and really focus on what you're doing, and you have a knowledge for 10, 20, 15 years in your head, and you don't know how to extract and put it into a solution framework, I'm your man.
I tell you what, Tosin, what we've got to do, right, is once the airplanes are flying again and we're allowed to move, because I can't move more than 10 miles at the moment. But once we get back I'm looking forward positively at 2021. We're going to have a conference. We need to have a conference, get like-minded people in a room, and I'd love it if you could come along and meet some of the people that are with us in Ultimate Landlord. I think giving them an opportunity to meet you would be just worth its weight in gold. Really would. Really would.
I would love to come along, man. Anytime, you call, I'm there.
Hey, we do it. I'm gonna get onto that. In fact, that's what I'm fired up to do. So I shall start work on that today and get that arranged.
Super.
Excellent.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, you take care, and love to the family and everybody.
All right. Same to you. Take care. Keep safe and stay healthy. All righty. All the best. Bye.